Hey guys, it's Scott from At Home Group Realty and GuelphDailyListings.ca. Rob Campbell here and I were chatting last night and we were discussing never before has real estate moved so fast, and Guelph is typically short listings, so you need to be prepared in today's market. So I brought Robin to discuss mortgages, and we're just going to go into, it's probably going to be 4 to 5 minute video and loaded with information. So Rob, you can introduce yourself, and then I will ask my first question.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Rob Campbell with the Mortgage Wellness Group here in Guelph. You can find out more about me at therobcampbell.com. Thanks for having me over. Scott called me last night and said, you know what, can you come over and shoot a quick video? So thanks for having me over.
No problem. So for the viewers today, Rob, what would be the first step getting their financing in order so they're ready to purchase them?
Yeah, great question. So I would advise any of you out there watching this to contact a mortgage broker. Obviously, that's kind of, I'm a little bit biased, I'm in this industry, and I hope you call me, but if you don't call me, that's cool. Call a mortgage broker. The reason is mortgage brokers are more privy to an array of products and lenders out in the marketplace. So we do deal with big brick and mortar institutions like Scotiabank and TD and B2B, which is formerly Laurentian Bank of Canada. So a lot of strong brick and mortar institutions, but we also have products that are more flexible as far as varying products. So I would advise you to contact a broker and start the mortgage application process. As Scott mentioned, in this market, it is moving so fast that, as you could probably agree, houses are coming onto the market and they're firming up in hours, not days anymore. So the benefit of getting a full mortgage application done is having sitting down with your professional and having all of your documentation prepared and ready to go, so that when Scott takes you out to find your dream home, you're prepared and you can go in with confidence, knowing that you're ready to put in that offer. And if you're competing, which a lot of properties are competing these days, so.
Very good. Can you give me an example of the comparison between a broker and possibly a big brick and mortar, the difference?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's typically the difference there would be, you know, I always kind of equate it to, and people laugh at this analogy, but I equate it to shopping for fruit. You know, if you go to the grocery store and you're going to pick up some fruit, you don't want to go to the grocery store that's only serving apples, right? If you're going into one big institution, you're only their products are only available to you. I mean, typically we're all created different. Scott and Jess's family are going to be different than mine, and we're going to have different needs and wants than some of you out there. So why should you go to the same institution that only has A, B, and C products? Sometimes life happens, and you know, credit might be an issue, income might be an issue. Maybe you're self-employed. Maybe you need bridge financing, and your institution doesn't do bridge financing, right? When you find your dream home, you might not be able to close for a couple of weeks before selling yours if you currently own a home. So the benefit of using a broker over a huge brick and mortar institution is one of those. The second is, wait for it, the second is penalty calculations. So typically, it's no secret, if you Google CBC Marketplace, they've done a couple of shows on TD Bank, in particular on, I'm not picking on TD, by the way, we do deal with them, but you know, the penalty calculations coming out of your mortgage before it matures can be huge. The way that they calculate the penalties versus how some of the monolines that the lenders that brokers use calculate penalties, there's a huge difference. We're talking thousands of dollars in a difference in a penalty, and I'll give you a great example. So just recently, 2-3 months ago, got a phone call from a couple who were in a bit of a panic. They were dealing with another mortgage professional who had been working with them since July of last year. And at that time, they were just in a pre-approval process, but not a full application. I had mentioned about pulling credit, how important that is, because credit is a huge aspect of the approval process. So they were dealing with another professional who did not pull their credit way back in July. Fast forward to a couple of months ago, not to make this time sensitive, but you know, months go by, still no credit being pulled. That professional tells them, don't worry, sell your property, you'll find the house of your dreams. They sell their property firm. So if you people out there that already own a home right now, imagine selling your house firm, okay? You have to move out, and then having your broker tell you, your credit is such that we're gonna have to take you to an alternative lender. You can't port your current mortgage to the next property. So they had a mortgage already that was probably gonna be able to be portable if their credit would allow them, but it didn't. And their credit was in such a position that they had to pay out that mortgage. That mortgage only had 2 years left to it, 2 or 3 years left to it. And they were faced with a $14,000 penalty because it was a cashback mortgage through TD. Now, it's a great product, but due diligence wasn't done. So I guess what I'm trying to say is penalty calculations are huge at some of these institutions, but most importantly, a full application would have avoided all of that. And they ended up spending thousands more than they had to. So, yeah.
Well, okay, so if they go and speak to you or a broker, what kind of information can they prepare so they're ready? What kind of documents do they need to pull? Yeah,
so at the Mortgage Wellness Group, we like to have you bring in everything up front, and it seems like a tedious task at the beginning because you might be saying, well, we're not really thinking about moving, we're kind of testing the water, but you never know, you might have that property that comes up in a flash through Scott's service, by the way. So what I would advise is, and maybe I'll create a PDF downloadable page or something that you could print, and
we'll attach it to the email.
Okay, great. So I'll create that and it'll be attached to this email. So the biggest thing is income verification. You would not believe how many people don't particularly know how much money they make. Actually, I mean, we go to work every day and we do our job and we come home and take care of our families, but time and time again, it's how much do you make? Oh, I make $80,000 a year salary. Well, it might not be 80, it might be 50 with a commission bonus that you only started getting this year. So sometimes we have to use a couple of years worth of income to qualify the deal. So income verification is a huge thing. Pay stubs, job letters, make sure you're up to date with your taxes, your CRA taxes. So if you haven't filed your income taxes, have you filed it? I have not filed yet. Make sure, and here I am telling you to do it, make sure that your income taxes are filed with a chartered accountant. There's a bit of a credibility there. That way CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, will send you back your notice of assessments. We'll need your notice of assessments and your T1 generals. A lot of people say, well, it's a cookie cutter income, Rob. Like I make $15 an hour and I work at Linamar, right? Strong company. Well, yeah, but maybe we can use your overtime income. Maybe you worked a lot of overtime. So the reason we ask for T1s and NOAs is all about income. So when you go out looking for a property with Scott and Jess, we need to know the property information. So what I would ask of Scott and Jess is, hey, if you're taking John out to see a home, could you send me the information on the property? And that way I'd have it on the file and ready to go if it's the property that you're pretty confident you're going to make an offer on. We don't, if you're going to go see 20 homes, we don't need all 20 properties. Right. So property and income, but all of that stuff will be on the list for you to download and take a look at.
Okay. Now, what about people that are upsizing or downsizing, the current owners of homes? Anything they need to be aware of or they need to look into?
Yeah, I mean, just touching back on that story I just shared with you about the huge penalty. If you currently own a home, we need to know information about your current mortgage because you might not need to break your current mortgage. You might be able to port it with you. Right. But in the last couple of years, you'll notice a lot of flashy products by some of the big banks, low rates, but they might not be portable. You might be facing a penalty if you're to move. So I'd hate to have you in a position where you go out with Scott and Jess and find the right home for you and your family, and then you kind of end up in that position. So property information about your current mortgage is vital if you currently own a home, because we want to assess whether it's worth porting that mortgage. Maybe we can do a port and increase, or maybe it makes sense if the penalty's low and there's a more competitive rate to do to completely pay out that mortgage and to get another mortgage, brand new mortgage.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming in. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And down below is going to be a downloadable PDF, a checklist as far as your financing and mortgage go. If you have any questions, Rob's contact information will be at the end of the video, or just hit reply and send me a note to get a hold of him, and I can certainly do that. It was a pleasure. Hope you enjoy. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks.